From the very beginning, you knew you didn't blend in with the crowd. Even as a child, your mind worked differently, your emotions ran deeper, and your spirit often felt out of place. You weren't meant to blend, you were designed to glow in environments where others dim. Every season of loneliness you endured was heaven's way of pulling you away from imitation, so you could discover your divine originality. The chosen ones are born into contrast, not comfort. Your uniqueness has often been mistaken for strangeness, but God calls it distinction. Every time people tried to label you, heaven whispered, "You're not what they think, you're who I made you to be." Even when you questioned why friendships faded or why you never fully fit into certain circles, that divine isolation had a purpose. It wasn't rejection, it was redirection. God separated you before He elevated you. You might have wondered, why do I feel different from everyone else? The truth is because you are. Your soul operates on a higher spiritual frequency, and that difference is what marks you as one of God's chosen favorites. So don't curse the seasons of solitude, thank them. Because while the world was busy fitting in, you were being set apart for a higher calling. Every chosen one goes through a moment when their old self collapses. It feels like your mind breaks open, your beliefs dissolve, and your world no longer looks the same. That's not a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. It's the moment heaven removes the veil and opens your spiritual eyes. When your spiritual awakening began, you probably couldn't explain it. The colors of life seemed brighter, your intuition sharper, and your empathy stronger. You started seeing beyond illusions, recognizing energy, deceit, and divine truth with laser clarity. That was God stretching your consciousness to hold more of His light. This awakening can feel chaotic. You lose people, you question your reality, and your emotions fluctuate between peace and pain. But remember, chaos always precedes creation. God wasn't destroying you, He was upgrading you. Being rejected hurts, but for the chosen ones, rejection is never random. It's heaven's loudest no when your heart wants to say yes. You've probably faced countless situations where people turned their backs, relationships ended abruptly, or opportunities disappeared right before your eyes. But each time, something better was being aligned behind the scenes. When people reject you, it's not because you're unworthy, it's because your spirit convicts theirs. Your light reveals what others try to hide. That's why many either idolize you or isolate you. They feel the weight of your authenticity. Remember Jesus, even He was rejected by those He came to save. The chosen ones often carry a similar pattern, misunderstood, doubted, yet destined. Your story mirrors divine history. You might have wondered, why can't I be accepted like everyone else? Because God didn't call you to be accepted, He called you to be anointed. Favor doesn't always come with applause, sometimes it comes with silence. There's something about you, even in your darkest nights, you know there's meaning behind it. You've endured seasons where everything fell apart, yet some deeper part of your soul whispered, "Hold on, this isn't the end." That's divine intuition. The chosen ones don't just go through pain, they transform it. You've taken heartbreak and turned it into wisdom. You've taken loss and turned it into empathy. Pain has been your greatest teacher, shaping you into a vessel strong enough to carry light into broken places. When others complain, you reflect. When others crumble, you grow. Because somewhere inside you know, God never wastes suffering. Every scar on your soul holds spiritual data, instructions for your purpose. Chosen ones often live through extremes, deep suffering followed by deep revelation. It's not a coincidence. Your trials are spiritual training grounds. Heaven refines warriors through fire. You can sense when something isn't right before anyone says a word. You can walk into a room and feel the emotional atmosphere. You can tell when someone's intentions don't match their words. That's not paranoia, that's spiritual discernment, a divine gift few possess. Chosen ones carry heightened awareness because God equips them for spiritual warfare. He sharpens your senses so you can navigate unseen battles. You see what others can't and hear what others dismiss. Sometimes it feels overwhelming, like you pick up energies that aren't yours. But remember, your discernment isn't a burden, it's a radar. God trusts you with it because He knows you'll use it wisely. This sensitivity also explains why you struggle in crowds or chaotic environments. Your spirit reads vibrations, frequencies, and motives. You're not too sensitive, you're spiritually upgraded. Have you noticed how every breakthrough in your life seems to attract a new storm? That's because chosen ones live under both divine favor and spiritual resistance. The brighter your light, the more darkness tries to dim it. When blessings arrive, opposition follows, not to destroy you but to strengthen you. You're not cursed, you're chosen. Your life is the battlefield where heaven proves that faith is stronger than fear. The moment God elevates you, the enemy assigns distractions, delays, and doubts to test your focus. But each time you overcome, your spirit grows tougher. The warfare is proof that you carry spiritual weight. Don't be surprised when your victories attract jealousy or your peace disturbs chaos. That's what light does, it exposes. Remember, even Jesus faced storms right after His anointing. You're walking the same divine path. Even in moments of doubt, when prayers seem unanswered and silence fills the air, you still feel God near. That's not delusion. That's divine intimacy. The chosen ones walk by faith, not sight, and that faith binds them to heaven even when logic can't explain it. There are days when your heart aches, yet peace wraps around you. Days when you cry, yet hope remains. That's God's signature, His way of saying, I'm still here. Your connection with the divine isn't something you learned, it's something you remembered. It's ancient, eternal, and unbreakable. Every time you've fallen, He's caught you. Every time you've wandered, He's guided you back. Chosen ones are not perfect, they're purposed. You make mistakes, but grace covers you faster than guilt can catch up. That's how you know you're favored. Heaven fights for your restoration, not your reputation. When you walk into a place, something changes. People notice your presence even if they can't explain why. Some feel drawn to you, others feel exposed. That's because your aura carries truth, and truth is magnetic yet confronting. God's chosen ones radiate energy that speaks louder than words. You bring light where there's confusion, comfort where there's pain, and conviction where there's pretense. That's divine energy in motion. You've probably experienced people opening up to you instantly, confessing things they've never shared before. That's because your spirit emits safety. Others, however, may avoid you because your energy reveals their hidden motives. You don't need to do anything to stand out. Your frequency already speaks the language of heaven. Angels recognize it, and so does darkness. Whenever you've ignored your intuition, you've paid the price. But when you've listened, miracles happened. That's because your inner voice isn't just instinct, it's divine dialogue. It's God's whisper translated through your consciousness. You've experienced it. The sudden urge to call someone, the feeling to avoid a situation, or that nudge to step out in faith. Every time you obey, things align perfectly. That's how you know it's not random, it's revelation. The chosen ones often carry this inner knowing stronger than logic. You can't explain it, but you know. And that knowing guides your entire destiny. When people call you lucky, smile because it's not luck, it's divine direction. The Spirit gives you eyes that see beyond sight. The more you honor that voice, the louder it becomes. It's heaven's GPS, precise, personal, and perfect. Have you noticed that no matter how hard you try to rush things, certain blessings only arrive when your spirit is ready? That's because God's chosen ones live under divine timing, not human deadlines. Every closed door, every delay, every detour has been carefully arranged by heaven to serve your highest growth. When others seem to move faster, don't compare, your timeline is sacred. You're not being left behind, you're being prepared. God slows down the chosen so that when He accelerates them, no force can stop it. There were moments you thought you missed your opportunity, but in truth, That was protection disguised as postponement. The delay wasn't denial, it was divine design. Chosen ones live in divine paradoxes. When it looks like nothing's happening, everything is shifting in the unseen. Heaven works in silence, roots grow before flowers bloom. If you're honest, you can recall situations where something bad should have happened but didn't. Accidents avoided by seconds. Friendships that ended before they could betray you. A job loss that led you into your real calling. That wasn't luck, it was divine protection. Chosen ones walk with invisible guardians. God assigns angels to them, not metaphorically but literally. That's why certain attacks failed, certain plots collapsed, and certain illnesses never took hold. You were protected when you didn't even realize you were in danger. Sometimes your plans crumble because heaven intercepted what would have destroyed you. God's protection often feels like disappointment at first, but later, you see his fingerprints on every no. When people ask why you're still standing after all you've been through, the answer is simple: because you're covered. The enemy tried to break you, but the hand of God said, "Not this one." You are not just surviving, you're shielded by purpose. That's why your enemies can't figure out why their schemes never work. Heaven fights your unseen battles. God speaks to his chosen through the subtle language of symbols, dreams, numbers, signs, and divine alignments. If you've experienced recurring dreams, repeated numbers like 11, 11 or 333, or encounters that feel too meaningful to be coincidence, that's heaven's communication line. Prophetic dreams often reveal guidance, warnings, or confirmations. You might dream of storms before emotional conflict arises, or see symbols of light before major breakthroughs. These aren't random, they're divine downloads. Synchronicities are heaven's breadcrumbs, signs that you're on the right path. Every time you see them, God is reminding you, "I'm still here. Keep walking." You feel deeply, sometimes too deeply. The pain of others, the weight of the world, the energy of a room, it all touches your heart. But that sensitivity isn't weakness, it's divine wiring. God gave his chosen ones amplified empathy so they could sense suffering before they see it. Your tears aren't random, they're prayers in liquid form. Every time your heart breaks for injustice, for someone's pain, or for a stranger's story, that's your soul responding to the world like heaven intended. Empaths among the chosen aren't emotional by accident. They're healers in disguise. You're the person who comforts, who listens, who feels what others suppress. That's why so many are drawn to you when they're hurting. Your presence carries calm. Yes, it can be draining, but remember, even Jesus wept. Compassion is sacred currency in God's kingdom. Through your empathy, heaven touches humanity. Before God reveals his chosen ones, he hides them. That's why your life has had long stretches of silence, seasons where nothing seemed to move, where your prayers echoed back unanswered. You weren't being ignored, you were being incubated. The hidden seasons are sacred classrooms. It's where God teaches patience, resilience, and faith without applause. While others are seen, you're sharpened. While others are celebrated, you're prepared. Even David was anointed long before he ever became king. His training ground wasn't the palace, it was the pasture. Your own obscurity has been molding your spirit for visibility. Have you ever found yourself giving advice beyond your years? Speaking insights that even surprise you? That's divine wisdom, not learned, but downloaded. God imparts understanding to his chosen ones so they can see beyond appearances and guide others toward truth. You might not have studied theology, yet you feel the mysteries of the Spirit. You sense when someone's soul is restless or when situations hold deeper meaning. That's not intellect, it's anointing. Look back on your life. You've survived things that would have crushed most people. Heartbreak, betrayal, loss, illness, rejection. And yet, here you stand, not bitter but wiser. That's not normal strength, that's divine endurance. Chosen ones don't escape storms, they're forged by them. Every wound became a weapon, Every fall became fuel. You've been broken, yes, but broken open to carry light. The fact that you're still here proves something powerful. God's grace didn't just save you, it sustains you. Every battle built spiritual muscle in you that heaven plans to use for others, deliverance. Sometimes out of nowhere you'll receive flashes of insight, a truth about life, a sudden idea, a deep realization about someone's heart. That's revelation. It's God downloading clarity into your spirit. Chosen ones often get answers not through books, but through breakthroughs. You might wake up one morning understanding something you struggled with for years, or find yourself saying words that feel guided by something beyond you. Revelation is divine communication. It bypasses logic and flows straight into awareness. That's why you sometimes feel ahead of your time. You're receiving information directly from the source. Where others bring chaos, you bring calm. People may not always say it, but they feel safe in your energy. That's because your presence carries peace, not from the world, but from the spirit. You've been through enough storms to understand how to anchor others. You know what despair feels like, and that's why your words carry healing. God uses your brokenness as a bridge for others, restoration. Even in silence, your energy speaks peace. You bring harmony to tense spaces, empathy to arguments, and comfort to grief. That's not personality, that's anointing. You've always struggled to follow the crowd, not because you're rebellious, but because your soul was built for leadership. You question systems, challenge injustice, and resist mediocrity. That's a hallmark of divine favor. God places leadership in the chosen because they're meant to influence, not imitate. You're not here to fit into this world, you're here to reshape it. Your ideas often seem too bold, your dreams too big, your faith too radical. That's how heaven speaks through visionaries. You see what others fear. Deep down, there's a voice that never goes silent, the one that keeps whispering, "You're meant for more." Even when life seems ordinary, your soul knows there's something extraordinary waiting. That's your calling echoing through eternity. This sense of destiny doesn't fade, even when you try to ignore it. You can run from it but not escape it, because God's chosen never lose their purpose. You were designed for something that impacts others, something eternal. Your past didn't disqualify you, it prepared you. Every setback was rehearsal for your spiritual stage. Every wound was training for your ministry of healing. That restlessness you feel isn't dissatisfaction, it's destiny trying to wake you up. When heaven calls your name, silence becomes uncomfortable. The truth is, you're not just God's favorite, you're His instrument. The world doesn't know it yet, but soon, your light will make it undeniable. Chosen one, your life is not random, it's written. The storms, the solitude, the strange coincidences, all of it was part of your divine storyline. You are God's evidence in human form that grace still works, faith still wins, and destiny still calls. Your time is not coming, it's here. Walk in it. Heaven is waiting for your yes.